Hi people, I want to say thank you for watching my videos. Since the last episode of Citystate 2, I've just been spending a few hours, just playing this game, playing the fuck out of this game and just trying to figure it out. And as you can see here, I've now got two cities. One, Merpati, original city with about 60,000 population, and the other city is almost at 300,000 population. So I gotta say I've managed to figure it out, I guess, and managed to build big cities, big developing cities, and I managed to kind of build socialist utopias because that's kind of like what I want to build in this game. And yeah, it's been fun, and I just want to share a few tips and tricks that can help you to start out your city and help make it a big city. Okay, so the first is to focus more on efficiency rather than design. It's kind of like city skylines, where when you start out you want to just build your city as quickly as possible and make profit as much as possible, and then you might later on have a bit more design to it, right? However, this game is not about design at all. I don't think so. Like you can have a bit of design, you can have a bit of design, but yeah, it's mostly about growth, so you can focus on building. Okay, and let me just show you something. When you're zoning, right? Okay, let me take this space here. And when you're zoning, this is what you do, right? When you're building your roads, you see those squares, right? They kind of indicate that you can fill out about this square like this. If you do it like this, if you do the next road like this, and the square kind of fills out the space in between, right? That's when you can zone efficiently. So you can pretty much zone without leaving any space at all. You can see here, no space at all, right? So this is one way to zone efficiently. And I mean, if you like a bit more space, you can probably not do it this way. But yeah, if you want to build a city as soon as possible, develop it as quickly as you can, that's one way to do it, to zone it out, right? All right. And the next thing is I want to talk about tax. So basically, when you're doing taxes, right? Let me show you. I mean, ideally, you want to have demand and approval at a good level, right? You don't want approval to be low, you don't want demand to be low. But when you're starting out, I think you could kind of focus a bit on profit. Just bump it up a little, you can kind of sacrifice approval a little bit, okay? And you can focus more on profit, because you kind of need profit to build a lot of stuff in a city in the beginning, okay? But once your financials are good, you want to find a sweet spot. Like this is my sweet spot right here. So it kind of like I want lower tax for the lower class, more tax for the upper class, stuff like that. So I kind of found my sweet spot here, where the approval is not high, it's not super high, it's kind of like just a stable growth, right? So yeah, I mean, and it kind of makes it, the demand kind of just nice, not too volatile. So the next step is I want to talk about utilities. Okay, let me show you utilities. Stuff like water, electricity. And you can see I have like a little section just for utilities here. It doesn't make sense, but the game is the game, okay? So yeah, when you're doing electricity, when you're doing water, stuff like that, you want to provide just enough, okay? Do not future-proof. And I'm a City Skylines player, and in City Skylines, you can kind of future-proof so that you don't have to worry about it, for a long time. But in this game, you don't want to do that. Okay, you want to provide just enough. And okay, right now I'm at 100. Okay, I'll show you. Alright, so I'm just building a few utilities just to show you. Alright, so you want to be the demand. You can see the demand on the lower left side here for water and electricity, right? You want it to be at about 80% to 95, 96%. Okay, or maybe 100%. You want it to be just enough. Okay, when it gets to 100%, then you can re-up, okay, and re-up slowly. And when you're first starting out, I would advise you to use a water tower and a diesel generator, so you can slowly provide. You don't want to provide too much, because that means that takes a lot of money out of your profit, your monthly profit, okay? And the same goes for like hospitals, firehouses, schools, police stations, stuff like that. You don't want to provide too much, okay? And what you want to do is you want to build just enough, and And let me show you. For example, I'm building elementary school over here, and you want to provide just enough, okay? Like, okay, right now I'm I'm not providing enough, but let's say your students, you have 281, you want the capacity to be at about 300. You don't want to be too much, and you can upgrade if you need to upgrade. And let's see here. Okay, you don't want the capacity to be too much, and for example, the high school is just nice, 2,100. And you just provide for the demand, but don't provide too much. Don't future proof, and don't upgrade unless you need it. Okay, never upgrade. Let me show you. Like, you see this button for upgrading? Do not upgrade it unless you need it. Like right now I need it, so I'll have to upgrade it until I could provide enough. I guess I have to build more elementary schools in order to sort of like have better capacity. But yeah, and also do not increase the staff. You see here, there's teachers or like policemen. Do not increase this in the beginning, okay? So in the beginning, you want to just focus on profit. Oh, sorry. In the beginning, you want to provide just enough. And let me say you one thing. Adding staff does not increase capacity, okay? Upgrading does increase capacity. So you want to build more of these buildings, or you want to upgrade it in the beginning. But once your city is kind of stable, you want to increase the quality. Then you want to increase the staff. Alright, so yeah, that's what I've learned. Okay, you don't want to future proof. Believe me, you don't want to future proof. Just develop, steadily until you've got a good profit. Then you can future proof a little bit. Okay, and that's that. Before I get to the next point, just about supplying the demand. Also make sure that your traffic is good. And you don't have to do this in the beginning, but once you've played, just make sure your traffic is good and you want to upgrade. I'll show you. So this is my city with about 60,000 population. It's not that big, but yeah, once you have a bit of money in the bank, maybe you can start making sure the traffic is good, right? Like you can see it is red. You can click on this on the lower left side, traffic, and you can see like this road is quite busy, right? So you can turn your biffa on and you can upgrade it to a street, or if you've upgraded to a street and it's still red, you can probably upgrade it to a road. This is what a road looks like, what a street looks like. And you could probably leave some space out for in the future. You might want to switch into an avenue, a bigger road, right? So yeah, that's about supplying the demand for utilities and roads and shit. You don't have to do this road shit in the beginning, right? Alright, so the next point is zoning. So you want to zone for every category. So as you can see here, we have on the lower left graph, low income housing, middle income housing, high income housing, retail, office, basic manufacturing, and advanced manufacturing. So for low income housing, you want to do maybe high rise residentials, and you want to use like sort of like gravel roads, right? And for the upper class, you want to build better roads, like in this section here, and you might want to build like parks nearby. Let me show you an area where there's parks. Where do I have parks? Looks like I don't have park in this place. Yeah, it is one example, right, of sort of like an upper class area where you have a park, you have a mosque, you probably have elementary schools, hospitals nearby, and you can zone some commercials as well. So just to try to make sure to balance it out, okay, between sort of like low and upper class, and the middle income housing will pop up once if your country is stable, you will create lower class that rise up to middle class, right? So yeah, just make sure you provide for every category, and you can zone. I usually zone mixed residential, and I put commercials at the edge of the road usually, and then inside it will be residentials, right? And also make sure, okay, for industry, right, you want to have these sections of like pure unadulterated industry, right, where it's like polluted as fuck with like gravel roads and shit. But you also want like advanced manufacturing. The advanced manufacturing will be in like sort of like, I will zone it in, let me just alright, so this is an industrial building but it's actually nearby sort of like residentials and commercials, because these are places with better land value. So and there's even a park here, right? So, and utilities like police station, right? So yeah, you want to put some industry in better looking places, right? Just for advanced manufacturing to pop up. And what you want to make sure is that the graph level is kind of like low and also level in between all categories. Okay, and right now I have negative demand for advanced manufacturing and office, so I got to figure that out, right? Maybe play around with the tax, you know, stuff like that, just to make sure there's good demand, or maybe build more housing so that there's more population and more demand for workforce, for places to work, right? So yeah, just make sure the level is good. So if one of the level is high, something's wrong and you got to figure it out, because you know the clock is ticking. Okay, you get me? You've seen it happen with me, okay? But now I figured it out. Okay, figured it out. And the next sort of like tip is about government policies. Like, let me just show you. You have government policies, and you even have border control, right? So you want to just, for border control, just follow the game. If it tells you you need a strict border control in the beginning, just do it, okay? If it says that you don't have enough migration, just decrease your border policy. I don't really bother too much about this policy. Anyway, this is what this game is about, okay? This game is about government policies, so you can shape your nation to be whatever you want to be: elitist, capitalist, socialist. Right now I'm a socialist utopia, but in the beginning I would advise you to focus on development first, okay? You want to try to please the sort of like, you know, this game has like left-wing approval, right approval, so you want to, in the beginning, you want to find sort of like a sweet spot where you don't piss off either side, and you can even sort of like enact some of the policies that can make you some money, okay? And without pissing off either side. And yeah, just for the development of the city, forget about your ideals, okay? I would say it's being pragmatic before idealistic, okay? Pragmatism before idealism. So be pragmatic, make some money, you know, please all the people, and just develop, okay? And once your financial situation is at a surplus, your city is stable, developing, you can start picking the policies, okay? You can start picking the policies that you want. In my case, I want to build I've managed to build a socialist utopia, whatever that means, but I guess I want to build sort of like a socialist city. So that's my ideals. So that's what I do with the policies, right? To be honest, not completely, but yeah, most of the policies are sort of like going that way. And sort of like, for example, like I'll just give you an example, like the government policy. Like, I want a universal health care for the nation. So you're not going to do this in the beginning, okay? You're probably going to do optional private funded or compulsory private funded so that you don't lose any money. But once I've got a good profit, I decided it's going to be universal healthcare. I think it's important for the people, okay? So yeah, so like I said, be pragmatic at first, and once you can afford it, be idealistic. Alright, the next point is probably the last point, and it's basically about farming the population. So let me just explain it. You can see here that I have all these government buildings, right? Capital, Department of Commerce, Social Affairs, yada yada yada, right? So in order to unlock these buildings, or even to unlock stuff like university, whatever, in order to unlock new policies, stuff like that, legislations, you need population, right? Let me just show you. Yeah, in order to unlock special buildings, in order to do more stuff, you need population, right? So in order to have population, what do? I guess I would recommend population farming. I'll just show you, okay? So the city I just showed you just now with the government buildings is Merpati, my first city. So I have another city called Helang. Helang means eagle. It's just for development. So this is my population farm, okay? So I would advise, to get your population up, just make a population farm, okay? Just forget about it, okay? Just make a population farm. Just make one city that's efficient and it's gridded to the maximum, okay? I'll just show you my city right here. And the city barely has empty spaces. It has a few empty spaces because I want it to look kind of okay, but it's basically a population farm. And you can see that Merpati city is 60,000, Helang city is almost 300,000. So once I unlock the government building, I'll put it in Merpati, which I consider the capital, right? The capital does not have to be a city with the most population, and you can see this in real life, right? Let me just show you. So yeah, just look at the city. It's a farm. It's a population farm. Okay, it's just a farm population, and there's barely any empty space. It's just dense as fuck. Okay, so yeah, that's what you can do. Look at my population, okay? And in this city, just try to please everyone, blah, blah, blah. I mean, in terms of policies, I think it affects the whole nation, so forget about that. Just develop the city, okay? Just make sure the city is developed, and look at the city. It's like, this is a city right here. Look at this city, man. Look at all the pollution, look at all the density, and everybody just cramped up in tight spaces, in like high-rise residentials, right? So yeah, this is a population farm. So that's probably sort of like my last tip, okay? And I want to say thank you for watching my videos. Thank you for watching this video. And if you have any other tips and tricks that you want to provide, because I kind of learned a lot of this from not just playing, but also from watching YouTube videos and even reading YouTube comments. Okay, so yeah, please, if you have any tips and tricks for me that I haven't provided in this video, please drop a comment. If you have any questions, please drop a comment. If I know how to answer your question, I will answer it. If I don't know, I'll just say I'm sorry. Alright, I'll just apologize and shit. Alright, so good luck building your city, good luck building your nation, and peace.